All right. Well, just sticking with the coronavirus topic to kick off with, we've got we're going to start with just talking about this Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine trial, and then we're going to talk about a couple of other science-related topics, but not necessarily all connected, but just something we'll be able to cover anyway, because it's been a while since we've done science properly for a while. So just starting with that, there was that story about that trial where there was it was put on hold because of someone having an adverse reaction, one of the participants having an adverse reaction, and it's interesting that, like, to me, it didn't seem like it was a surprising thing in a vaccine trial that something like this would happen. And the experts that came out were at pains to say that this is just part of the normal process when a vaccine's being developed, and particularly one that I would say they're trying to fast track as quickly as possible to get out there that these things happen, and it's not going to necessarily stop the work on it. They just have to go through the data and examine what happened and then get back to work, kind of thing. But it's interesting in today's media environment, and also with the focus that's being put on this because of, I guess, the uber topical nature of it, because everyone wants this vaccine as soon as possible, that it may have been beaten up as being a bigger thing than what it was, at least from what I could see.
Well, it's definitely been beaten up. Some people would say rightly so. Others would say, look, it's just business as usual for any vaccine trials. It's a good to actually talk about this. Yes, one, stopping a vaccine trial because there's been an adverse reaction is completely standard, completely normal, and completely part of the process. What else would you expect to happen if you want to get a safe vaccine at the end of it? But more importantly is, while they've compressed the amount of time it takes to go through the 3 phases of clinical trials, they haven't shortened the trials or made the trials any easier to get through. What they've actually done is they've allowed them, when phase 1, for instance, has shown really good promise, they've open-gated to go straight to phase 2 of the trials. Otherwise, typically what would happen is they would finish phase 1, then they'd probably wait 3 months, and then start on phase 2. But now, basically, as soon as phase 1 finishes, they can go straight into phase 2 because they're analysing the data a lot more quickly and paying attention along the whole way. So they're not altering the standard process for a vaccine, which is very important as well. I think everyone should know.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously being a complete layperson to this topic, I would think that there's an element of for all the work and all the examination of data and everything that would go into this, and also even their knowledge of how to develop vaccines, etc. There must be a component of it where they just have to wait and see what happens, when they trial these things, because
that's right.
It is a new vaccine against a new variation of a coronavirus, I guess, and they don't exactly know what will cause the reactions, or what reactions there would be.
And they actually have 3 or 4 different ways of making a vaccine now, which technically are all very, very different from the original, just giving somebody some dead virus or, attenuated to get an immune reaction. Now they have all sorts of synthetic vaccines as well. So, they still need to be tested in the same way. We still need to see if there are any adverse reactions, and then understand why the adverse reaction occurred. And in a lot of cases, it's not always the vaccine. So, these things are standard, but I think I think the one thing the media has also missed in this story is that, the process of checking the vaccine is no easier, or the limits haven't been lowered in this instance. They're just allowing them to do it a lot more quickly.
And also, just to underscore this point, they're going at a rapid clip to get this out there, compared to what you would expect from a regular sort of vaccine development process. And obviously, there's pressure to do that because it's a global problem. But I think that's something that also people need to understand, even though it's hard to have patience in times like these.
Well, that's true. And look, I don't want to get adversely political here, but they say that everyone's doing this, and the science, I guess, is cooperative in this sense. But the company that develops the first effective vaccine will be a winner.